The Lost Kingdom of Kush, Africa's Forgotten Empire. There are stories hidden beneath the sands of time, stories of great civilizations, powerful leaders, and epic battles. But not all of them are remembered. Some fade, buried beneath centuries of forgotten history. One such story is that of the Kingdom of Kush, a mighty African empire that once stood alongside Egypt and Rome, a land so rich in gold that even pharaohs envied its wealth, a civilization ruled by kings and warrior queens. Yet today its name is barely spoken. But history does not forget, and today we uncover the tale of the lost Kingdom of Kush, the empire that refused to be erased from time. Deep in the heart of Africa, along the great Nile River, lay a land of wealth beyond imagination. This was Kush, a kingdom built on rivers of gold, fields of ebony, and mountains rich with precious stones. The Kushites were skilled traders, connecting Africa with distant lands. Caravans traveled across burning deserts, carrying ivory, frankincense, and exotic animal skins. Egyptian scribes wrote of this land of gold, calling it Taseti, the land of the bow, named after the fierce Kushite archers feared across the ancient world. But though they were rich, they were not free. For centuries, Kush was under the shadow of Egypt. Egypt saw Kush not as a partner, but as a prize. The pharaohs sent their armies south, conquering Kushite cities, demanding their gold and their warriors. For generations, the people of Kush lived under Egyptian rule. They built temples for Egyptian gods, spoke Egyptian words, and even sent their sons to fight in the pharaohs' wars. But Kush was patient. They learned from their conquerors. They studied their enemies, and when the time came, they would rise. The time for patience ended with a man named Pa. He was no ordinary king. He was a dreamer, a warrior, a ruler who believed that Kush was meant for more than servitude. With his mighty Kushite army, Pa marched into Egypt, crushing pharaohs who had ruled for centuries. The Egyptians, once conquerors, now bowed before a Kushite king. And so, the Black Pharaohs were born. From Kush, they ruled not only their own land, but all of Egypt as well. The empire stretched across the Nile, from the deserts of Sudan to the Mediterranean Sea. For nearly 100 years, it was the Kushites who sat on the throne of the pharaohs. Kush was unlike any other kingdom. While men ruled in most places here, women led armies, held the throne, and fought for their people. One such queen was Amanirenas. She was more than a ruler. She was a warrior, with a heart of iron and a sword of steel. She would become the most feared queen Kush had ever known. She did not sit in the safety of her palace while her people fought. No, Amanirenas rode into battle herself, leading her soldiers into the fire of war. At the height of its power, Kush was a beacon of wealth and knowledge. Its new capital, Meroe, flourished with bustling markets, mighty temples, and towering pyramids. Unlike Egypt, which built pyramids for kings alone, Kush built them for queens, priests, and nobles alike. They were smaller than the Egyptian pyramids, but steeper and more elegant, pointing like arrows toward the heavens. The city was alive with art, music, and innovation. Skilled ironworkers forged weapons, traders brought spices and silk from far-off lands, and the people walked streets paved with gold. Kush was at its peak, but the greatest challenges were yet to come. Far away in the north, a new empire had risen. The Roman Empire. Rome had conquered Egypt, and now its greedy eyes turned toward Kush. To Rome, Kush was nothing more than a land of gold waiting to be taken. But they did not know what they were about to face. When Rome sent its forces south, they expected an easy victory. But they underestimated Amanirenas. With her warriors, she struck first. Roman outposts burned, their soldiers fled, and for the first time, Rome knew fear. The Romans had been humiliated, their outposts destroyed, their banners burned. But Rome was not an empire that accepted defeat. In response, Emperor Augustus sent thousands of soldiers well-trained, well-armed, and prepared for total war. They stormed Kushite cities, burning homes, taking captives, and seizing temples. The Romans believed that within days, the great kingdom of Kush would be crushed. But they did not understand the spirit of the Kushites, and they did not know Amanirenas. In battle, Queen Amanirenas fought fiercely, but war takes its price. In the heat of battle, she was struck, an arrow piercing her eye. The pain was unbearable. The world turned red, but she did not fall. Amanirenas rose, now the one-eyed queen, her spirit unbroken. She lifted her sword, roared like a lioness, and led her warriors into battle once more. The Romans had thought she was finished, but she was just beginning. Her warriors, inspired by her strength, struck back with vengeance. The tide of battle turned. The war dragged on for years. Rome was powerful, but Kush was relentless. The Kushites were experts in guerrilla warfare. They did not fight Rome in open battle, but instead struck in the night, ambushed supply lines, and lured the enemy into the merciless desert. For the first time, the Romans faced a war they could not win. They had conquered lands from Britain to Persia, but Kush refused to kneel. Amanirenas wanted more than just victory. She wanted Rome to remember its defeat. So she did something no enemy had ever dared. Her warriors captured Roman statues, including one of Emperor Augustus himself, and with her own hands, Amanirenas gouged out its eyes, just as she had lost her own. Then she sent the statue back to Rome, a message clear as the desert sun: Kush does not fear you. No empire had ever been insulted this way before, and Rome had no response. After years of war, Rome realized it could not break Kush. The cost was too high, the warriors too fierce, and so they did what they had never done before. They made peace. Rome agreed to leave Kush alone, recognizing its strength and sovereignty. The great empire, which had crushed so many nations, had been forced into negotiation by a one-eyed queen. Amanirenas had won. With Rome defeated, Kush returned to its golden age. The markets reopened, the pyramids stood strong, and its people walked proudly once more. Amanirenas ruled with wisdom, forever remembered as the queen who defied an empire. But no empire lasts forever. As the years passed, the world changed. Trade routes shifted, resources dwindled, and Kush began to fade. The pyramids, once bright against the sky, were slowly swallowed by the sands of time. The last kings of Kush watched their empire shrink. They held on, but they knew the great kingdom was nearing its end. One day, the last Kushite king faded into history, and the empire was no more. For centuries, the world forgot Kush, but history cannot stay buried forever. In time, explorers uncovered the ruins, the pyramids, the golden artifacts, and the stories of the black pharaohs and warrior queens. The world remembered. Today, the story of Kush is more than just history. It is a lesson of strength, of resilience, and of never allowing your story to be erased. From the great pyramids of Meroe to the courage of Queen Amanirenas, the spirit of Kush still lives on. Africa's history is powerful. It is rich, complex, and filled with stories waiting to be told. Now it is up to us to remember them, to tell them, to keep them alive. What do you think? Should the world remember the great Kushite warriors and queens? Let us know in the comments. And never forget, the lost kingdom of Kush. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this story and want to hear more incredible African tales, don't forget to hit that like button. It really helps the channel grow. And if you haven't already, subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you never miss a new story. Let's keep sharing and celebrating our heritage together. See you in the next one.